Hi, my name is Brianna Garrell, and this is my colleague Julia DiNatale, and we have served as a marketing and corporate communications interns for the past 5 weeks. We're just going to start off with a little bit about ourselves. So I'm a recent graduate of Plainview Old Bethpage John F. Kennedy High School, where I served as the Chief Marketing Officer of our VE firm Socket. And I'm planning to attend Olin Business School at Washington University in St. Louis to study marketing and economics and strategy.
As Brianna already mentioned, my name is Julia DiNatale. I recently graduated from East Islip High School, where I was the Chief Executive Officer of our firm, Gobi Outfitters. Starting next month, I will be studying International Business and minoring in French at Bryant University up in Rhode Island. So over our 5 weeks here, we had 5 main assignments, which included creating 10 advertisements for both Facebook and LinkedIn, 2 user guides for both Facebook and LinkedIn, a key performance indicator chart, as well as 1 final presentation. Now, like all team projects, there's time for both individual and teamwork. So Brianna and I both equally worked on the visual aspects for each of the advertisements. I typed up the introduction and formatted all of the user guides, while Brianna typed up the rest of the content. We both equally worked on the KPI chart as well as the final presentation.
And so for each of the tasks we were assigned, we set definitive goals in order to make sure that we were working to our fullest potential. And so for our social media advertisements, our main goal was to generate leads via the download of informative white papers, which we'll discuss later on in the presentation. For our key performance indicator chart, our main goal was to tie in all of the necessary information for our supervisors and the entire department to be able to measure the success of our advertisements once they had been published. For our user guides, we aimed to create a continuation of this series that the previous VEI interns had already begun. And so last summer, the VEI interns created 3 different user guides for LinkedIn, Facebook, and for Twitter in order to help advisors with step-by-step instructions on how to set up their business's page. So we aim to take it one step further and to help advisors elevate their use of social media to include advertising. And so our guides serve as a step-by-step guide for advertising from start to finish. And finally, we formulated a final presentation today to inform people of how we worked over our past 5 weeks, but also to showcase some of the final products of what we've been doing.
So prior to beginning working here at American Portfolios, our supervisor, Bill Betts, outlined in this one simple and easy to read Gantt chart all of our tasks. This allowed us to know when everything was due and what exactly was to be done.
And so every day we followed the same format to ensure that we were working efficiently. And so every single morning we would meet with our supervisor, Bill, and we would go over what tasks needed to be completed for that day, whether that be a continuation of a previous day's work or a brand new task. And so once we had been assigned our work, we would move on to our desks and we would specialize on whatever we felt was best suited to our interests. And once we had formulated a draft from our day's work, we would head over to one of our supervisors, whether it be either Bill or Kim, for an initial review period to get some comments and some edits on what we had been working on. And so following that, we would go back to our desks, make the final edits, and polish everything up before we went to one of our final review meetings, which we held twice a week with our supervisors.
So with our 10 advertisements, we strive to use a variety of different media formats. So this way we used both images and videos. But we have seen an increase in engagement from videos, so therefore we created 2 different kinds of videos. We used previously recorded videos that Kimberly Branch recorded in this exact studio, as well as we created 3 infographic videos that were animated to be A/B tested against each other to see which one has a better response from our audience.
And so the first step in our ad creation process was reading the white papers that we were going to be promoting. And so once we had read it over and had a better understanding of the topic, we would decide which form of media, whether it be photo or video, would be best suited for that specific white paper. And so once that decision was made, we would move on to the design process, in which we would either look through the libraries of things that had already been made by other people in the marketing corporate communications department, as well as Exit 10, or we would head over to our graphic design softwares and our video editing software to make videos from scratch and photos from scratch as well. And so once we had felt that the first rough draft of that had been made, we would have that approved and we'd move on to the next step of the process, which is creating the captions that would appear both above and below our advertisements once they were finally published. And so these captions had to fit within the character constraints of both of the social media platforms while still being engaging and eye-catching and being informative for advisors to be enticed to download our white papers. And so following that, we would move into the ad management softwares to work on the audiences for both of our advertisements, for all of our advertisements. And so we would go through lists of keywords, whether that be a behavior, an interest, or a job title, to compile lists that were relevant to our financial services industry. And we also had created several different audiences so that we can test them against each other and see which is generating the most white paper downloads and the most leads. And finally, the last step of the ad creation process included uploading all of the elements into the ad management softwares and saving it as a draft so that our supervisors can easily go back later on and publish the ads once they're ready to go.
Now, for all of our social media advertisements, they all follow the same format. How it works is really simple. When they see our advertisement on Facebook or LinkedIn, they will have the option to press a Learn More button. Once they press that button, they will be directed to a landing page. On that landing page, they'll find three things: a summary of the white paper, the pre-recorded video of Kimberly, as well as a little form asking for their full name and email address. Once they provided us with all their information, they will be directed to a page where they can download the entire white paper for free. So here we have two of our advertisements. On the left, we have our single image ad advertising for the paper titled Successful Ways to Mentor Your Millennials. And on the right, we have our video advertisement advertising for the white paper titled 3 Reasons Why a Video Presence is Crucial. So we'll now play that video advertisement.
And so, although each of the ad management softwares have their own analytics pages, we felt that it was important to create a key performance indicator chart that highlighted the elements that were most important to American portfolios, and also to tie in outside data such as white paper downloads and other conversions on the landing pages in order to ensure that all the information was easily read in one simple format. And so we have all of the white papers listed on this chart, as well as the form of media that we use to create the advertisement. And we also automatically generate a pie chart that shows what percentage of downloads, of total white paper downloads, are allotted to each of the specific white papers. And this was created using Google Sheets so that all of our supervisors, as well as the entire department, can input any data that they want, as well as they can all view the data at the same time.
So like we've previously mentioned, we were tasked with creating the second book of this series for the financial advisors. So we wanted to follow the same simple to use format for both the Facebook and LinkedIn guides so the advisors can start their own campaigns from start to finish. So we start off by explaining why you should utilize a specific platforms for advertising. Then we move into some of our favorite tips and tools for creation of the actual visuals. Then we go into setting up an advertising account, which is then followed by an overview of the ad manager, which is then followed by an overview of the bidding process. And we finish off with a thorough explanation of how to track your ads.
So the cover pages of both of our user guides were set up with the intention of being simple and legible, but also incredibly similar to last year's user guides, in order to establish the idea that it was a continuation of a series. And so here we have a screenshot from our Facebook user guide where it shows the importance of saving your audience for future use, as well as different helpful tips that Facebook presents you while you're making your audience. So one of which would be a size meter to show your potential total reach based on the different criteria you would input into the ad management software. And in addition, Facebook will also generate different totals for what they think would be a realistic daily reach or daily conversions for you. And so here's a screenshot of our LinkedIn user guide. And this page is showing the very beginning stages of creating a video advertisement. And so it prompts you to click the Create New Video Advertisement button, and then it takes you to that next step of the process where you can upload your video, as well as create a headline and introductory text and name your advertisement. And we also felt that it was important to include the specific requirements that are needed to properly run an advertisement on LinkedIn.
So working here at American Portfolios has both provided us with a wonderful experience right before we enter our college years. We were able to work on relevant tasks with extremely helpful people, as well as letting our creativity shine to its fullest potential.
It is evident that we've learned a lot from our experience working at American Portfolios for the past 5 weeks. And so one of the biggest takeaways that we both agree on is that we were able to see how a real firm, a real mid-sized firm operates with real professionals, real people working in departments, and how that differs from a virtual firm back at our high schools. And in addition, Julia and I previously had little to no experience in the financial services industry, and so this was a really useful experience for us to get an idea of what that industry is like, and some information that will tie in definitely in our post-graduation job searches. But by far the biggest takeaway was the really detailed knowledge that we've been able to gain in the realm of digital marketing, especially social media marketing. Not only were we able to learn experientially through doing this ourselves step by step, but also we had to formulate user guides in which we were explaining step by step to the advisors in a comprehensible manner, in which case that even deepened our level of knowledge. And so this is information that we're looking forward to taking back into our college classrooms to help enrich our marketing classes. And on a similar note, we were able to gain a lot while working here. Not only did we have real-world experience, but we also had gained organizational skills, such as what you'd seen in the Gantt chart, and as well as network connections with real professionals in the industry. And so this all culminates into a competitive advantage that we can have a leg up on our peers and as we move on to the next stages of our lives, whether that be for student leadership positions on campus or future jobs or internship experiences as well.
Now we'd like to take the time to thank American Portfolios for allowing us to share this opportunity with you guys, as well as specifically thanking the marketing and corporate communications team members who directly guided us through the whole internship process.